Dear ladies and gentlemen, the Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft duo are perhaps the most marvelous machines humanity has ever built. At the moment the Voyager duo launched successively in 1977, no one could have imagined these spacecraft would operate for half a century. However, 46 years have passed, and both spacecraft are still striving to fly out of the solar system while not forgetting to communicate home via the Deep Space Network. Voyager 1 is currently humanity's farthest flying spacecraft, located about 24 billion kilometers from our planet. However, on December 12, 2023, NASA announced that Voyager 1 had stopped transmitting data to Earth, causing enthusiasts of the spacecraft to feel restless. Although we know the spacecraft has reached retirement age, and permanent loss of contact is only a matter of time, it still makes us feel regretful. So what is the issue Voyager 1 encountered? Is this a temporary communication interruption or have scientists lost contact forever? Let's explore together. Recently, on the morning of December 14, 2023, the journal Le Sand published an article stating that NASA's 46-year-old Voyager 1 probe had stopped transmitting data to Earth, shocking many, including myself. S official blog also posted that engineers were working to resolve an issue with Voyager 1. According to various information from these articles, Voyager 1 is experiencing a glitch and currently cannot transmit any scientific or system data back to Earth. However, the spacecraft can still receive commands from Earth, but it seems one of its 3 computers has malfunctioned, causing the Flight Data System, FDS, onboard to not communicate as expected with the probe's Telemetry Modulation Unit, TMU. As a result, no scientific or engineering data is being sent back to Earth. You can imagine that under normal circumstances, the Flight Data System would compile the spacecraft's information into data packets, then transmit them to Earth via the Telemetry Modulation Unit. However, recently one of the FDS computers failed, causing data to get stuck. The only thing the spacecraft transmits to Earth is a meaningless sequence of binary ones and zeros. NASA engineers are working hard to fix this situation. If your computer freezes, don't you usually choose to turn it off and restart the system? Interestingly, NASA has also tried this method but it didn't work, and they said it would take several weeks to find a more feasible solution. That means in the coming weeks, communication between Earth and Voyager 1 will be interrupted. Whether the spacecraft will operate again depends entirely on whether NASA engineers can fix this issue. Voyager 1 and 2 were launched from Earth in September 1977. Among them, Voyager 1 launched 16 days after Voyager 2. Both are currently the longest operating spacecraft in human history. Voyager 1 is known as the spacecraft farthest from Earth currently. It is about 24 billion kilometers from our planet. At this vast distance, communicating with the spacecraft has a significant delay. NASA stated that if a command is sent from Earth, it takes 22.5 hours for the spacecraft to receive the signal. And if the spacecraft has any response, we also need to wait at least 22.5 hours to receive it. Meaning such a conversation would take about 45 hours. This is probably the most time-consuming conversation in human history. The communication delay makes the engineers' repair work more challenging. Whenever they send a command to the spacecraft, they might have to wait nearly 2 days to know if the spacecraft received it. Besides the communication delay issue, the spacecraft's age and hardware are also a particular challenge. NASA engineers have to work with machines programmed in the 1970s. T4C today. Therefore, they need time to study how new commands will affect the spacecraft to avoid unintended consequences. But I believe, like previous times, NASA will soon resolve this issue. It's just a matter of time. This is not the first time Voyager 1 has encountered problems. In May 2022, Voyager 1 also gave fans a scare when it experienced an unprecedented issue. The spacecraft's Attitude Articulation and Control System, AACS, which connects with Earth, kept sending meaningless data back, when it should have been sending data about the interstellar environment around it. NASA engineers said that during 45 years of operation, this was the first time the spacecraft had such a problem. The issue caused communication between the spacecraft and Earth to be interrupted for 3 months, until August 2022 when it was finally fixed. And the spacecraft returned to normal operation. The root cause was that the spacecraft's Attitude Articulation and Control System sent its telemetry through a computer that hadn't been operational for years, resulting in corrupted data. So NASA sent commands to AACS to use a different computer to resolve the issue. Glitches and errors on Voyager 1 are predicted to occur more frequently in the coming years. Therefore, don't be surprised if Voyager 1 encounters continuous issues, simply because it has already performed exceptionally well. And if there's anything worth wondering about, ask why Voyager 1 is so durable. What special technologies was the spacecraft equipped with? The key lies here: 3 radioisotope thermoelectric generators, RTGs. Each generator contains 24 pellets of plutonium-238 oxide. At the time of launch, each generator produced 470 watts of electricity, but output gradually decreases over time due to thermocouple degradation. Since 1998, the mission team has been forced to gradually turn off onboard devices to save energy. But that only helps the spacecraft maintain communication for about 2 more years. It's expected that by 2025, the spacecraft will run out of fuel and be unable to communicate with Earth. Currently, NASA is seeking ways to extend the lifespan of this great spacecraft. One of the latest efforts is upgrading software for the Voyager Duo and addressing the issue of fuel accumulation in narrow tubes in some of the spacecraft's thrusters. NASA helps the Voyager spacecraft Duo operate as long as possible. Hai Yen has placed the video link below the description section. If you haven't watched it, please click the link to learn more. Regarding the issue Voyager 1 is facing, hopefully NASA will soon fix it and restore the spacecraft to normal operation. At least from now until 2025, the spacecraft will continue sending back valuable data, helping scientists better understand the region of space outside the solar system. With that, this video concludes. Thank you all for watching. And now, goodbye and see you in future videos. Best regards, farewell.